You're now listening to the Zod and Drea podcast.
All right, here we go. We are back. Now, this is going to be a fun show because we got BlossomAZ, Connie. She is here to bless us once again. Say hello.
Hello, I'm glad I'm back.
All right, she's back here to bless us one more time. And she is going to bless us with this question of the week, which is how, it would be how,
Mm-hmm.
So how can significant others who are friends with their ex affect a current relationship? So, I'm sure we all have had relationships out here who, either your ex gets along with the new one or they don't, but it's whether or not you want to be friends with them. Well, some things can go awry and some things can go great depending on who you are. And I know I have had some great relationships with my ex. I mean, Drea, you?
I've had some great relationships and I've had some that weren't so great.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. I've had some, we've had some bad ones, but you've had some good ones.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah. Connie?
I've had mostly bad. No,
mostly
just
bad?
kidding. No, I keep in touch with a lot of my exes. You know, I like to end things on good terms, and, you could be adult about things, and if I see it as if you didn't have a romantic relationship, at least you can have a good, genuine friendship that can have the outcome of it. So the reason why your paths cross for some reason, a positive reason. So.
Right, and it should be.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because I think it was Women's Health Magazine. Women's Health Magazine had said, if you've gone through a certain part of your life with a particular person, you have a shared history, says Jane Greer, a PhD. The connection with your ex also keeps you connected to certain highlights and significant times, and that's very meaningful. Meaning there is an actual positive thing to having, an ex in your life because they also represent some of the good things that happen to you. So why would you give them the boot? I mean, why just because you are not either having sex with them or intimate with them or in type of a relationship would you give them the boot? Why do they now become meaningless? So they were meaningful to you at some point in your life, but now they suck.
Right.
Why?
Well, for me, it took a while for me as an adult to really become secure with myself and what I had done and what I was responsible for in the past relationships. I did all kinds of stuff. I mean, look, we all
Harlot,
mentirosa.
That scarlet letter.
But then it's also looking at I own what I'm responsible for, and society. And I know what I was taught too is that if they're an ex, they shouldn't be around anymore. Bye.
That's society, not family or culture, or that's society?
All of the above. Like, you should not be around them anymore. And I was around a culture where men didn't look highly and supported the fact that if you were still friends with your exes. Really, that's what I was surrounded by. And I'm not saying anyone else was like this. I know when I was surrounded by, men didn't support that. If they were going to be with their woman, that woman better not be in contact with that other guy that she was dating beforehand.
Now, why?
I think it's an insecurity that they have, that they assume that just because you're still in communications or friends, quote unquote, with your ex, that some physical involvement is still taking place. And no matter if you say, I didn't know that there was a secret word of lying when you were dating, I would be like, yeah, I keep in touch with my ex, and the person would not take me serious because they realize that I'm still friends with my ex. I didn't comprehend it at the time because I didn't have that insecurity myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't know if it affects men the same as women then. You have to ask yourself, why couldn't you be friends with your ex? To you, you're like, oh yeah, I could be friends with what?
It depends on the friend sometimes.
But is there a reason why you kept them around?
In a supportive manner, I think there's a good balance between male and female relationships, having that good like a confidant in a woman's perspective and a man's perspective. Sometimes, the guy who I just finished dating, we didn't have a romantic relationship, and I call him and get dating advice, like, what's going on with this guy? He's this and this is going on, and it turns into they're like more of a coach rather than
But that takes a maturity level on your end and his end, and also to be clear about what we are now,
But are you clear? Like, that's just it. It's like, why would... It's almost like asking a broke person about advice on how to get rich.
Yeah.
That's very true.
It's like, okay, you're single, you failed a relationship with me, and you're still not in a good one.
I'm going to ask
you some advice now. See, that's a different thing. See, you asked him for advice. You didn't ask him for advice on dating. That was different.
No.
That was to get under his skin.
No, I promise. No.
It's like, oh, I know you loved me and everything
we
dated,
no.
but...
If we dated, there was no love. That's a relationship. Dating's something different.
Well, how long did you date? Who's this?
Few months.
No names.
Meaning, who is this to you? Not names. You can't. This is the private club. You do not get to name names. But you're in here and the mics are off. You get to know everything.
But I could be a hypocrite in some point.
Tell me.
I wouldn't really. It depends on the woman too. If she's like overly flirty, and if my boyfriend was friends with his ex, I probably wouldn't really like it. I have to be a very mature adult because, the person I'm seeing now has two, one ex-wife and one ex-girlfriend that he has children with. So, I always wanted a mature relationship with my ex-husband. And, it would be hypocritical for me to tell him, you can't do that, because I think that's healthy for the children. And like they say, the person you're with, they're going to cheat if you agree or disagree with it. All I can do is be positive and stay focused on the values and what we have going on and what's, keeping us together. But it took a lot of growing on my behalf to be able to sit there and...
But does it also, a lot of that have to, as far as the relationship and the trust develop, does a lot of that have to sit too and have to be owned by the person you're dating?
Yes.
If that person's bringing in saying, look, this is my group of friends and people I'm close with, and whatever amount are my exes. This is how the relationship is now. We're just friends, and as long as he or she, whoever tries to date whatever, that is, as long as your ex establishes clearly what the relationships are in his life and how to involve you. Again, do you think that's more important than anything else? So this way, you feel that you can establish then a relationship that is trusting and
yes, that's the key word. Very trusting. If he makes me feel valued and respected, and open line of communication, that what went on with the past, even if it's not like a baby mama or just someone he dated, which the person I'm with dating now, we don't talk about who we dated.
Now, and why is that? Is that scary?
I think is
that scary for you to find out?
Good or bad, because I don't. But I know other people, let's say you two, that are very open with that. So, and honestly, Brent and I dated in the past.
Yes, we
did. And I'm glad that
I'm Brent, a.k.a. Zod, in case you didn't know. And Connie, a.k.a. BlossomAZ. We've dated in the past.
If he wouldn't have brought it up to
Drea,
a.k.a.
Andrea,
then I wouldn't have felt comfortable being around the new unit that they have together. But him and I had... It was years ago. I don't even know. So it was way before she was even close to being part of the picture, that we stayed in touch and continued being friends. So,
But it's in a lot of cultures, or I should say the American culture, in a lot of circles, such as what your friendly Daily Mail says. The Daily Mail says,
Daily Mail.
says you may think there's no chance of romance between you, but if you're anxious about cultivating your ex as a friend, then what you're really doing is trying to keep them as a reserve, a kind of insurance policy against being hurt again, says this woman, Julia. So sometimes, people do know that they can smash their ex, and they keep them around for that reason.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, we're friends now, but I know that in 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, tomorrow, I can soften you up if I need that reserve. If I've called A, B, C, and D, they're not around, you know what, I know you're home, and yeah, we can do this, and we can get comfortable, and we can have this one night stand. You're going to think it's all romance stuff. I just want to get my nut off. And you're still my ex, and you're still my friend. It's not an established agreement, but that's what it is. And wash, rinse, repeat. It'll happen again. So that's what they're saying with that. Are you thinking that some of these guys aren't genuine and that they actually want something more from you? And do you also give that much of yourself because you know it's true, you know it is, but you still allow it to happen?
Well, there's some men that I've know that will specifically say men and women can't not be friends, and those are the guys that I stay away from, because you know, once they are no longer interested in you, they are going to cut you off, you know, into pieces. So if that's their perspective, that's their reality of who they're describing themselves. So if they think that every single guy who's around me I'm, you know, in bed with, well, Jesus Christ, I will never have time to get out of bed because I have a lot of male friends, you know? And why have this new guy in my life if I had so many already? It's just ridiculous.
So tell me, here's one thing. Have you ever then, once the new guy, not this guy particularly, but once you've gotten into a new relationship, let's say it doesn't work out, do you call an ex?
Probably yes. I have to be honest. Yes.
So then
You reach out in some way, you know.
So then,
And let's just face it, exes can sniff that stuff around you.
Yeah.
no, they can sniff that, but no, that's what
It's
I no,
timing.
that's what
You
I
could,
said. But
you know,
it's like
not have
it's
a good
like,
relationship.
do you call that ex, like the new one didn't work out? Do you just say, hey, you know what, I'm gonna take time for myself, and you know I'm good, I'll find, or do you be like, yeah, you know what, I need some dick, and you know you're available, and but I don't care if you have a new girlfriend, and it's like.
Well, no, if they had a new girlfriend, I wouldn't. If they were, you know, honestly dating and you could see that's true, or you hope that's true, then, you know, I might go on a date with them.
Well, then this is funny because the Huffington Post says,
I love the Huffington Post.
if you go back to your ex, you're probably a psychopath. So they said after asking 300 participants why they'd want to be friends with their ex, they received assessments of highly ranking a practical reason for remaining friends with an ex predicted a clinical assessment of narcissism or psychopathy. So,
I think with women, especially Hispanic women, I've told guys this all the time. They're like, women stay in bad relationships, or all my exes call me. I'm like, we're Latinas. We are not supposed to have 19 notches on our belt. So women will recycle because we don't want to add to the notch, and we might.
I have also heard that too.
Missing, and we could probably respark the flame that we once had.
Which is bullshit because the dude has 19 of you, and he always knows that they'll come back to him. Man, it must be nice to be Hispanic.
But it's also, it took a while for me to look at and realize, am I dating the same person? What am I? I am the common factor in all of these relationships. So if I want to change something, and if I want to create something brand new, what is it that I need to stop than creating the same person over and over again, no matter what they look like, no matter what shape, size, color? There's something that I'm not done with that I need to be responsible for and be like, look, this didn't work out. I need to stop dating the same person and really look at what's going to be good for me and find out what I'm doing that is causing that sadistic type of...
That's about growth. That's about growth as a person and you growing up and growing out. I think I'd written on your board. Where I said, you know, if it winds up being in a repeated cycle, you know, you're in with your ex, you're in and back and forth, whatever, and you just you're redoing the same cycle over and over again, you're not growing. You have literally hit a plateau. So you're at one level, he's at the exact same level, everyone else has moved on. Like, at what point are you going to catch up? You have to break a cycle. So it's like, I mean, do you choose to do that, or do you choose to only go back in the past? It's like, think about that. It's almost like, you know, having that DeLorean in Back to the Future, and you just keep going to the same point in time every single
Makes
time.
sense,
It's like,
yeah.
why don't you go and check out the 1600s, or why don't you check out...
It's enlightening. It's a growing process.
It's a growing process.
Yeah.
So.
I recently had reconnected with someone I once dated many moons ago and realized why we didn't connect the first time around. So It's like,
That's it.
Look,
know,
it's all about communication for me.
Yeah.
Like, look, if I know my partner is secure in his relationships and involves me,
And that's what we do.
yeah.
That's
And
what
we
we do
involve
all
in
day.
all kinds of business.
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not, you're involved in all my business.
That's it. Oh man. Well, you know what? You know what? Time goes by so fast on Zod and Dre, and we just like to thank BlossomAZ,
Yay,
Connie,
thank
for coming
you.
here. Thank
thank you
you
for
doing-
having me again. I enjoyed it. I always do.
Good.
Come back
No
again.
doubt. Come back again. Peace.